Hello everyone, my name is Jordan and today I'm going to be doing my May wrap-up. I was very happy with the amount of books I read in May. I read 6 books and I actually followed my TBR and read 6 of the 8 books on my TBR. So unfortunately, yes, there wasn't 2 that I got to, but I didn't stray, which is not common for me. So anyways, yeah, I'm pretty happy with my reading month. Now, these aren't going to be in any particular order, but we're going to start with Academ's Fury by Jim Butcher. This is the second book in the Codex Alera series. It is an adult fantasy series that I am loving right now. I am actually rereading the first 3 books in the series, and then the last 3 books I will be reading for the first time, so I'm just loving being back in this world. And like I said, it's an adult fantasy. There's elemental magic. Our main character is one of the very few people who actually can't do magic. It's actually very uncommon. It's unheard of. He's like the only one, so that's very weird. He gets bullied because of it. There's a lot of plotting against the realm going on and just sort of standard fantasy shenanigans, but just enjoyable all the same. So very excited to continue with this series next month as well. Then I also read another sequel, and that is The Dragon Republic. This is the sequel to The Poppy War, another adult fantasy series that I am just in love with right now. Everyone knows what this series is about. It's super popular right now. This is the sequel. I absolutely loved it. I thought it was better than the first. And this is a series that I just highly recommend if you are into dark, brutal fantasy. Like, this is very adult. The first half of the first book feels kind of YA-ish. Our main character can be very unlikable, but honestly, all of the things that she does, I like her, you know, and it's because of how flawed she is that I like her so much, because I think it's very realistic. So, I don't know. I just love how we get to see how war takes its toll on people in this series, or mainly our main character, because we only ever follow Rin's perspective throughout this series. But I love it, and I cannot wait to read the final book this month. Then we have Behind Closed Doors by B.A. Paris. This is an adult thriller. Oh my god, this was so long. This is like the first book I read. Oh yeah, so this woman ends up marrying this man that she hasn't really known that long. She kind of falls head over heels for him, and then as soon as they get married, he like basically locks her up. So this wasn't quite what I was expecting it. I think I gave it 3 stars. Like, it was super addicting, fast-paced, like I wanted to know what happened, but it just wasn't at all what I expected. Like I said, he pretty much just keeps her locked up the entire time, and it's her trying to figure out, you know, how can I escape? And I was always, I guess, going into it, I thought this was going to be more about like a woman who is more like Stockholm Syndrome, but with her own husband. I don't know. I just thought he was going to be like super controlling, but she was still able to like go out and do whatever she wanted, but she was so like wrapped up in the messed up shit that, you know, he told her that she never, I don't know. It just wasn't quite what I was expecting. I thought it was just okay, and I gave it 3 stars. It's a thriller. Then I finally finished the Illuminati Files by Jay Kristoff and Amy Kaufman. This is their YA sci-fi series that I've been listening to the audiobook for a while now, and I finally finished it. I've been trying to listen to audiobooks more, so we'll see how that goes, but I think the rest of the series I'm gonna finish by reading the physical books. But I did very much enjoy this story. We follow a couple of main characters where they are sort of on a spaceship. Their like homeland has been like attacked, and then I don't know, there's just crazy sci-fi stuff happens. There's an AI that's, you know, going corrupt and killing people, and there's all this like conspiracy and I don't know, crazy sci-fi stuff. It's first book, super popular series. I don't feel like I really need to explain too much about it. I really enjoyed it. I think I gave this 4 stars, and I'm really excited to continue on with the sequel. Then I have Dark Rhodes by Chevy Stevens. This is another dark mystery thriller book. This book follows sort of 2 main characters. The first half we follow one character, and the second half we kind of follow another character. And we follow a young girl, I think she's like 17 turning 18 or something like that, and her father dies and she ends up going to stay with like her aunt, and her aunt's husband is weird, and like she discovers something about him, and he's like threatening her and like trying to like lock her up in the house and just like being a super creepy dude. And she thinks that he is this like highway killer that is like infamous along this highway that runs through their town or whatever. So she thinks it's him, and she finds evidence that he's a creep, not necessarily that he's the killer. So she ends up going into hiding. She goes out and lives in the wilderness, and everyone thinks she's just been another victim. Then we jump to another character's perspective after she goes off in the woods, and it's this girl whose sister had gone missing from this town. So she goes there, and she ends up kind of staying longer than she thought, starts like meeting people, and is just trying to figure out what happened to her sister, basically. And these 2 girls' stories kind of connect. It was sort of like a slow pace, but very like atmospheric. It kind of had like beachy vibes to it, because there's like a lake, and they're always going to the beach, and it was like summertime-ish a lot, so it was like nice out. Even though, I don't know, the cover and like the fact that the highway is called like Cold Creek Highway or something like that, it just made it seem like it was like a wintry read, but it actually didn't feel that way at all. So yeah, I don't know. This was enjoyable. 4 stars. Didn't blow me away. Like I said, it was just more like atmospheric, and it was just like a good mood read, I guess, if that makes any sense. And then the last book I read was Book of Night by Holly Black. This is her newest release. It's also her adult debut, and there's been some mixed feelings about this book in the community. I think a lot of it has to do with the fact that people weren't expecting a lot of things about this book. Like, people weren't expecting it to be an urban fantasy. I think people wanted something more along the lines of Cruel Prince, but I enjoyed this book. I ended up giving it 4 stars. I do have a full-blown review up on my channel. I'll have it linked. Like, it didn't blow me away, but I thought it was, better than your average book. I thought it was really cool. There's, like, shadow magic in here. It's kind of, like, mysterious, and I enjoyed it. So I think you just have to go into it not expecting it to be anything like The Cruel Prince, because it's nothing like The Cruel Prince. It's its own story. It's an urban fantasy. There's shadow magic, and it's cool. And I loved learning about the magic in this world. So, yeah, I would recommend reading it. So I forgot to mention that I also read We Were Liars by E. Lockhart in May. I think I forgot because I'm trying to forget. I don't want to remember that book. I thought it was terrible. I gave it 2 stars. It was really boring. The only reason why I finished it was because I wanted to know what happened, because there's sort of a mysterious element to it where one summer our main character loses her memory, and now all of her friends and family are like tiptoeing around her and being weird. And so, but once you find out what happens, it just angered me. I thought it was a stupid ending, and I didn't feel bad for the main character, and I hated it. I just hated it, and I think it's overhyped, and I do not recommend it. So that was We Were Liars, and I will probably never read anything by E. Lockhart again. Sorry, not sorry. So that is it for my May TBR. Oh, that is it for my May wrap up. Let me know what you guys read last month, what you plan on reading this month, and I will see you guys next time. Goodbye.